All right. Good morning. Good afternoon, all. Hey, first things first, let us know where you're coming in from. And two things, let us know if you're live, that's important, or if you're on team replay, because especially if you're on live, we can see your chat come up and we'd love to say hello, give you a shout out. And then as we go through this conversation on the power of story-driven video marketing, we'll take some questions. So don't be shy as Tom starts to talk through this. If you have particular questions, he will definitely address them. I'm excited about this today, Tom. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here with you. Happy to be here with all of our friends who are joining us live, and even for the folks joining us on the replay. Happy to have them here as well. So yeah, as Chris said, in the comments, feel free to throw questions in there as we talk. If there's something that comes to mind that you want to ask a question about or learn a little bit more about, then throw it in the chat. We'll get to it.
Definitely. Shout out to Kachina down there in Dallas, Texas. Welcome to Kachina. We're looking forward to this conversation today. But, I'm pretty prompt on things, Tom. I'm from New York. You're from New York. We get right to the point, right? We're good at that. But where I really always believe is every person I work with that's on here has a mission that matters, something that's really important to them and a people group that they're fighting for. So why don't you share a little bit about that mission that matters for you? I'd love to hear that story and let the audience hear it.
Yeah, so I've kind of always said since I started Talix Media about 7 years ago after leaving the entertainment industry, a career in the entertainment industry, I've always kind of said that I was on a mission to humanize the world of business. And that has meant, slightly different things, but it's really come into focus over the last couple of years, writing my book, Legendeering, really sort of as a pathway to actually accomplishing that. What I mean by humanizing the world of business, and I do that through better communications, is I really think there's a huge need for a shift in the way businesses think about and then communicate with the communities that they seek to serve. And I use that phrasing a lot and very intentionally, because I believe every business is a service business, right? Every business was built, it was founded, it was created, it was grown, it flourished on the back of the idea that it was there to solve a problem for a group of people, for a community, right? Yeah. And so every business has a community that they seek to serve. And that community, I use that word community a lot because when I say community, what do you think of? What do you picture? You picture people, right? People make up communities. And that's what I want businesses to help businesses do, and to encourage businesses to do through the work that I do and through their communications, is to stop thinking about their customers and their clients and the members of that community as dollars and cents on a P&L or data points on a spreadsheet. I want them to think about them as the human beings that they are, right? I want them to picture their neighbors when they talk about their customers and their clients. I want them to think about people. And that's why I use the word community all the time, like I said. But that's what I'm on a mission to do. I'm on a mission to humanize the world of business. And I think the best way for me to do it, the only way I really know how with my skill set, is through communications. And ultimately, Legendeering is my pathway to accomplish that goal.
Since we're both cyclists, I got to get this out here, right? That's what community is all about. It's the Peloton, right? You look at how can you bring people together and get things done faster and quicker and more efficiently and bring more people with you. It's through that Peloton, that community. So I love that, Tom. I love that. You mentioned a term before, Legendeering, right? And for you, and this is where we're going to get into the conversation all today, it's a new approach to video communications. Can you explain what this Legendeering entails and how it differs from traditional video marketing strategies? Because I know yours is completely different. I love this approach that you're using out there. I love the name, by the way, too.
Thanks. Yeah, Legendeering is a term I came up with, and really it's a mashup of two words, right? It's a word I made up, but it's a mashup of two words, right? Legend for story, and engineering, giving the idea that you're sort of building intentionally with thought. You're building these stories and building the sort of legend around a brand. Story-nearing just didn't quite have a ring to it, so I went with legend instead. But yeah, Legendeering. I think one of the big things that sets Legendeering apart from traditional video marketing, it is it is A, much more human focused, and B, much more story focused, right? It is not product first.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people, make the mistake of going product, right, or service, whatever it is that you sell, of putting that first, right? And the way I like to describe this to people is like, you imagine you're walking down the street and you meet somebody, right? You're introduced to somebody. Maybe you run into, you're with a friend and you run into somebody they know and they introduce you to that person, right? You reach out your hand and you shake hands and you say, "Hi, I'm Tom," or "Hi, I'm Chris," or "Hi, I'm whoever," right? And they may ask you like, "Oh, how do you know, this friend or your mutual acquaintance, or how do you know, or what do you do, or any of those kinds of things," right? And you have a conversation, you spend some time getting to know each other, right? Before anything else, that's the first thing that you guys talk about. You would never walk up to somebody on the street, introduce yourself, and say, "If you write me a check right now, or if you Venmo me right now, I will give you X, Y, and Z, or I will do X, Y, and Z for you," right? You never would do that. That would be insane. They would look at you like you were out of your mind and they would run the other direction, right? But that's what a lot of people do with their video marketing, right? With their video communications, is they go product, in your face, give me your money, give me your money, give me your money.
Yep.
And they don't do any of the work of actually building the relationship. And that's what legendeering is really sort of designed to overcome, is that stumbling point and help people build real relationships through video communication.
And I can I could talk about this for a long time with you, just this topic right here. It just seems like that's how people are nowadays. I mean, take a look at, if I'm on LinkedIn all the time, right? I mean, I can go into my DMs and I'm like I don't even know you yet. Like, this question you're going right to the point with, it's crazy. And it's just, well, especially with video, because people just want to hound it and hound it and hound it. I mean, I know you and I talk about this all the time, like the bro marketing approach, right? Always having to have this happen, that happen every time you do something. And like, I know you're so anti that approach, because it's not really a human to human approach if you really think about that long term, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's not a human approach at all, right? It is 100% a transactional approach. And one of the things that I think, or one of the mistakes I think people make when it comes to video marketing and marketing in general, is that they treat marketing like it is sales, and it's not, right? They are complementary, right? They work together, right? Marketing supports sales, right? It generates the leads that then have the opportunity or the potential to become a sale for your business, right? But they're not the same. And often, I think people mistakenly believe that their video content should make sales for them, right? And that's part of the reason why they go heavy product. Every video ends with a call to action, right? Like a link to buy, a link to, whatever. And at the end of the day, that's not the right way to do it, because it ignores the fact that who you're talking to are people. And just like you and like every other person, we don't want to be sold to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, people love to buy. Let's not get wrong there. People love to buy, but being sold to is a completely different scenario. And I mean, video is so powerful if you really think about it. Here, you and I are on a live video, right? People can actually see we're real, who we are, what we're about, see our vibe, right? Hey, I kind of like this guy, Tom. He's really awesome. I can see myself, wanting to talk to him a lot more and learn more about him. So the power of this communication is huge. And I believe now more than ever, with AI out there and all these different tools people are using, this here is going to be the most powerful tool you can use, and it will always be the most powerful tool. And that's why we wanted to talk about this a little bit, because people are really missing the boat on this. And I sit here on social profiles all the time because I help clients with a lot of this. And one of the first things I see is like, I can say to so many, every video do is a sales pitch. Every single video, like, people are going to tune you out completely with a sales pitch on every single video. So, I mean, this is a whole different approach. And I mean, let's talk about this. You and I are actually both endurance athletes, okay? Right? We won't get into all that, but him and I can ride bikes for a long time, and he can run a lot further than me and swim a lot further than me. I'll just leave it at that. But when you look at what you've developed, video is an amazing strategy, but you got to look long term, right? If you really think about this. So let's talk about that a little bit. And then I want to get into some other parts of this conversation with you.
Yeah, I mean, look, video strategy is, again, we're talking about building relationships. And if you think about the relationships that are most important to you in your life, most of them, as part of one of the things that you would describe about that relationship, one of the components that almost all of them will have is longevity,
Yeah.
right? And it's the same thing when you build relationships with the community that you want to serve through your communications as a business, and through my approach using video, right? Is it takes time, right? There's a long tail to this. But ultimately, if you do a good job of building those relationships over time, what you end up with is a community of raving fans,
Yes.
right? You end up with a community that loves you and your brand and your business and what you stand for and what you believe in, right? And the product that you make and the services that you provide, they love them.
Yeah.
So not only are they potentially customers themselves, right? Or currently customers themselves or clients, right? But then also they're advocates for your brand. And that's the other part that often gets overlooked by people is there is a tremendous amount of value in nurturing relationships with people who will never ever buy your products or services, never become a customer or client, but who value the same things that you do, who think the same way you do, who believe in the same things that you believe in, right? Who see the value in the work that you do, and who will then go out and advocate for your brand to their friends and family. They will return the value to you tenfold, right? They are way more valuable as advocates than they ever would be as a singular client. And those people get ignored all the time, right? Because we're constantly chasing transaction,
Yep.
right? We're constantly chasing that sound of the cash register, the cha-ching, and the drawer opening, right? Like that's what businesses and people in business are taught to chase, right?
Yep.
Rather than chasing the conversation, chasing the relationship, right? That interaction you have across the counter. Like I'd be willing to bet, I mean, I don't know if this is true for you, Chris, but I bet a lot of the people listening or watching can relate to this. Do you have a favorite like coffee shop or deli that you go to near your house, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So when you walk in there, do they know you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do they say hi to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do they ask you about what's going on in your life? Do you have a conversation with them? Right?
Absolutely.
They know maybe about your kids and their cycling and their mountain bike racing, right? And your involvement in that. And you might ask them about their family and their kids and what they're up to and how they're doing and all of that kind of good stuff. That relationship, that interaction, that has way more value
Mm-hmm.
than the cup of coffee that you buy,
Yep.
right? Or the bacon, egg, and cheese that you order. And the reason it has so much value is that conversation is why you go back over and over and over again, time after time. You go back because of that relationship, because of that conversation, not because they have the cheapest bacon, egg, and cheese in a 5-mile radius, right? Or
Yeah.
not because they use single origin Colombian fair trade coffee, right? That's a great thing, but you're really going back for the relationship.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, I can use so many stories on this. I used to years ago. I mean, I managed and worked in a Dairy Queen for 12 years of my life, and like we had a client base that was our client, and I knew everything about them. They could come in line, and I could be like, "Hey, Tom, the normal, yep, kids too, yep, boom. Oh, you know what, Chris, I'm changing this day." That's what people want. They want that. Money's easy. Boom. That's easy after that. And when they can have that feeling that you truly care, and I can tell you in my business, I see it all the time. I don't look at people as a cash register. I look at a person as a person. Let me get to know this person. And what a lot of people miss is, for example, Tom. Get to know Tom. I know a lot about Tom now, right? He knows a lot about me, but Tom knows a lot of people. When Tom sees value in Chris, because what Chris is doing, Tom may not work with Chris, but Tom probably knows a lot of people that should be working with Chris. Then this whole different stream comes. And if you're doing your videos correct, and I want to get into the conversation of video a little bit more, people start to say, man, this guy Tom referred over, I like this guy. He's not selling on all this stuff. So let's talk about this because I see entrepreneurs all the time struggling creating video content that really, really resonates with their audience. I mean, I see it. So what are some of these common challenges you see? And then we're going to talk about a masterclass that's coming up next to really take this conversation a lot deeper, which if you want to, you can go, I think it's on this side right here. You can register now. It's complimentary, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's talk about what you're seeing most struggle with today, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, I think particularly, for entrepreneurs, I see this a lot. Struggling with creating content that really resonates. One of the biggest and most common pitfalls they fall into is they lead with information, right? And particularly for entrepreneurs, right? Like the business that you build is your baby, right? I mean, and the saying, right? The old saying that like no one is ever going to love your baby the way you love your baby, right? Is 100% true for entrepreneurs and their businesses, right? Yep. No one is going to love your business or be as proud of your business as you are, in the same way that no one is going to love your kid or be as proud of your kid as you are, right? It's just the nature of the beast. You love it partially because you created it, right? Yeah. And so what people do is they get really excited about information about their business, right? So they get really excited about a new technology that they're employing, or they get really excited about a particular methodology that they use in their products or services, or the way that they package things, or like all of these other things they get really excited about, they think are cool and innovative and unique and brilliant. And maybe they all are. But the problem is you're talking to people that don't love your baby as much as you love your baby, right? And so you have to remember that. So what you have to do is you have to create the opportunity for them to start to fall in love with your baby, right? You have to, and the best way to do that is through story, right? Through narrative content, right? And the reason why is because we are all programmed to love story. Evolutionarily, we are programmed. It is literally in our genes. We like story, right? Because it's a way for us to use and make knowledge, to pass down knowledge from generation to generation, right? And to make that passage of knowledge from generation to generation sticky, right? And like, there are lots of lessons in stories. Like you think about, nursery rhymes, or like, children's tales or whatever, right? There are lots of lessons in those, like Ring Around the Rosie, right? Was actually like a tool or a game that was developed to help kids avoid contracting the plague, right? I mean, so like there is a ton of information passed down through story. Like all of the sort of fairy tales that we remember from kids all carry lessons with them, right? So at the end of the day, if you really want to connect with your audience, if you want to build the opportunity, give them points of empathy for them to understand, relate to, believe in, start to fall in love with your baby, your business, your brand. The best way to do that is through story and through storytelling.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm going to give a shout out to Jamie. I know Jamie personally here, but yeah, lead your customer through story to your product, no doubt. And I want to give a shout out to Melissa out here also for your comment. Hey, thank you for calling us brilliant people. That's what we like to see out here. So we appreciate it. Yeah, I'll take that one.
I'll take that.
Hey, so let's talk about this. We're going to go deeper on this conversation. Tom's got it, and I'm going to put this QR code. This is complimentary. So if you want to take advantage of this, you can scan this now. I drop it in here. But right here, May 15th. So that's 2 weeks from today. Jeepers, today's May 1st, isn't it? Yeah, 2 weeks from today at 1 o'clock Eastern for 60 minutes. Tom's going to go on a masterclass. He's going to talk deeper about this. And we're still going to take some questions and go through some stuff on this live here. But if you want, you can scan right here, right now. It'll take you to the landing page. Sign up. You can get in this. But Tom, let's talk about this masterclass, because like your background, you've worked with major broadcasters. I want you guys to hear this, okay? He's worked with major broadcasters like BBC, NBC Universal, right? This is high-level production that he's going to put into something extremely simple for you in an hour. So like this, like if you're serious about story-driven video and changing your game and you don't hit this thing complimentary, I'm going to tell you you're not serious. That's just going to be calling you out, okay? But Tom, let's talk about what we're going to do in 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I've been fortunate enough. I've had an incredibly fortunate career. As you mentioned, I started working in television and in the entertainment industry back in 2001. Worked my way up through that industry. I ended up as a showrunner and series producer, which meant that I was overseeing the series-wide production of television shows for networks. Was fortunate enough in that career to be nominated a couple of times for a couple of Emmy Awards. Didn't get the trophy, unfortunately, but still proud of the nomination nonetheless. But yeah, so I have a wide variety of experiences. I've worked all over the world from sub-Saharan Africa to the Arctic Circle. I've been all over this country, working and meeting people and telling stories, a variety of different stories. And at the end of the day, the conclusion that I draw from all of that experience is that nothing beats, supersedes, wins against a really well told story, right? Nothing. And that is ultimately what I aim to help people to do through legendeering, is to tell stories well, to uncover what stories they should be telling, and then to understand how to go about telling them. So the masterclass, as you said, it's an hour, right? So we're kind of barely scratching the surface, but it is absolutely a great place to start if you are curious, if you want to do better, and if you want to differentiate yourself and you really want to stand out in a crowded marketplace, right? I think a great way to do it is to have a unique communication strategy and a unique approach to video, one that truly puts your customers and your relationships with the community that you want to serve first, right? Which is what legendeering is designed to do. The sort of core principle of legendeering is to lead with value always. And that's what this is all about, right? Is creating content that delivers value to your audience time and time and time again, to a point where they kind of have no choice but to look for opportunities to return that value to you.
I love this. And I want to give a shout out here too. I just saw Jennifer dropped a comment up here. So, hey, if you're on live with us, I see a bunch of you are on LinkedIn now, just give us a comment. We'll give you a shout out. If you're on Team Replay, we can't put it up there, but we'll give you a shout out afterwards. But yeah, Jennifer, excited to hear this. The wealth of knowledge you're going to get out of this 60 minutes is just ridiculous. I can tell you that because I've helped Tom put this together, and just my time working with Tom, seeing what he knows. I'm in this masterclass. I'm like, all right, I need to get some of these tips, right? So I'll be in there also. I saw a bunch of you started downloading this QR code, so that's great. Oh, like Jennifer's hitting it up out here, Tom. Hold on, let's see what else Jennifer's got here. I love when people interact with us. That's the wrong one. Here we go. So we got Jennifer here. Absolutely. An IO psychologist. I've seen story-driven content activates emotion. Yes. Builds trust, enhances memory. I love this. That is real influence. You want to comment?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to comment on that. And actually, Jennifer, yeah. And Jennifer, just so you know, my undergraduate degree, my bachelor's degree is actually in psychology. So I thought of going into psychology. I was actually encouraged by my undergrad advisor to think about going into looking into PhD programs, but I decided to get out of school and start working. I was anxious to get my life started as an adult, but yeah. So I have a background, a little bit of a background, just a bachelor's degree, nothing like no advanced degrees in psychology, but I have a degree in psychology, and that definitely informs the way I approach things. And you're absolutely right. At the end of the day, like the thing that I always like to say, and this is kind of a bit of an oversimplification, but it holds true, is that people make decisions based on emotion, right? And the example that I like to use for this is, in conversation, I've asked this 100 times, but if you know anybody that owns a house, or if you yourself own a house, and you're honest about why you purchased that house, the first thing people will often say when you ask that question is, oh, it was in a good school district, or it had the eat-in kitchen I wanted, or the backyard was perfect for the kids, or whatever, right? They'll give a laundry list of like facts about the house. But when you get down to it, if you keep drilling down, right, and you get them to talk about how they felt when they walked into that house, how they felt when they went back to see it a second time and they brought their wife and their kids, or brought their spouse and their kids with them, right? That what you'll get to ultimately is it felt like the right house for us. It felt like a place we could call home, right? It felt. And I would argue that if you're going to make the biggest purchasing decision of your life based on how it felt, then you make every other smaller purchasing decision based on emotion also. So, yeah, ultimately, if you can get people to feel good about supporting your business, they will. It's that straightforward.
Yep. And when they can see that, right? When they can feel that experience and just know what it's going to do for them, right? And I could we could have a whole like hours and hours of conversation on this, just because I see this all the time working with clients. But you're so right, and just the fact that you use the house as an example, I can use a bike as an example. If I'm going to go drop X amount on bikes, and our bikes aren't cheap, we'll just leave it at that, right? If I get on that thing and it's working, boom, like that's really what I'm looking for. So, time flies doing these things. Let's see. I think we got another chat popping up here. We got Jennifer. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, Jennifer. He knows what he's talking about.
Thanks, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Yeah, and for sure, if anybody has a question they want us to address, or they want to ask me, by all means, throw it in the chat. We got a couple of minutes left before we wrap up here. Yeah, time does fly. Or I just talk a lot. It's one of the two. But
I like keeping these at 30 minutes, though. Also, people's time is valuable. But I will say this: 60 minutes, the way we structured, is going to be pure value driven. But here's the cool thing: you'll be on with Tom live, so you can ask questions during this too. We left, like when you're on the masterclass, we left time to ask questions and help you really understand this a lot more. So anybody got any questions they want to drop? We'll stay for a couple of minutes, but register for the masterclass. Tom, anything else you want to add as we wait for a couple of questions? Because I know there's usually a little bit of a delay on live.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say this, like, look, this masterclass, as I said, it's an hour long, right? It's a complimentary masterclass. I'm not gonna blow smoke. It is not gonna make you into the next great filmmaker, right? It is not going to make you a marketing genius, right? It's an hour long. I'm not gonna give you the bro marketing spin that it's gonna unlock your first $1 million or whatever, right? Like, none of that is true. But what it will do is it'll help you understand media and communications in a way that'll really give you some clarity on what story you want to tell, or you should be telling, and how to start telling it, right? And that, I mean, at the end of the day, if the only thing that I can accomplish in this masterclass is getting you to take the first step, well, I mean, sometimes the first step is all it takes, right, to get you to the finish line, right? I mean, we, as you talked about, we're both cyclists. I also do a lot of running races, and do a fair amount of running. So like every race is, starts with the first step and finishes with you crossing the finish line, right? And the only thing in between are just more steps, right? So if I can get you to break that lock, break that frozen posture that you're in, and take that first step, well, then maybe that's all you need, right, to really get moving, to start that momentum. If I can give you that first push, then the world of possibility opens up in front of you. So that's what I'm hoping to do. That's sort of my promise for this masterclass is I will do everything in my power to give you the knowledge and the skills that you need to take that first step confidently, and to keep moving forward after that.
Awesome. And Jennifer, I'm just going to answer her question. Do you have a post for this you can put in the chat? Yeah, Tom's going to put a post up about this, probably, I don't know, over the next day or two. So you'll see that. Jennifer, you can share this video. You can share the website too, Jennifer, like Tom, because you registered. I dropped it in the chat. I'll connect with you on LinkedIn so you have that. But anything you need, you'll see Tom getting a post out about this. We're now starting to, this was the announcement day. We have 2 weeks. You'll be seeing us talking about this over the next 2 weeks now as we
absolutely.
Up. So you will see more on that. And since you're in already, Jennifer, we'll make sure you got everything you need. Just reply to Tom's emails when you sign up. He'll see everything. All right, so let's put this up here, Tom. I think we're good with questions. We're right on time, 30 minutes round trip. Us New Yorkers keep it good. Keep
There
it
you go.
really good. So we're looking forward to seeing y'all in 2 weeks. I'll be on there. I know I'm going to be taking a lot of lessons from this here. You want to close us out with anything else before we finish up here, and then stay with me.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
leave when we're
absolutely.
done.
I just want to say thanks to everybody for coming out, for joining the live, or for watching the replay. Really appreciate all of you taking the time to listen to this conversation. I hope it brought some value to you. And if you want even more value, I promise that's what the masterclass is all about. So go ahead and sign up for that masterclass. It's free. It's an hour of your time. And I promise you it will over deliver on value for you.
Yeah, it definitely will. Definitely. And Jennifer, I just saw your other comment. I'm not going to put it up here. I'll make sure when we're done here, I'm going to reply to you so you have the link and everything you need also. So you know where to find us. See a bunch here downloading. So we look forward to seeing you. Thank you all for taking 30 minutes of your day to join us. Share this with friends. You know, this is going to be an awesome event, very interactive. We're going to sign off. Everybody have an awesome May. It's going to be a great May.